Welcome, everyone, to a very special episode of the podcast. This episode, episode 88, I have a returning guest, my friend Rylee McDonald of Advent Horizon, as we discuss their newest record that recently came out. You can go and buy it at their store, or you can wait for the rest of the singles to come out, however you choose to do so. We break it down immensely. You guys are going to love this. Check it out.
So,
Oh no, you're good.
apologies for my webcam. I think there's something wrong with the lens. It's like getting a little blurry. I just ordered a new one on Amazon, so we get to deal with my slightly blurry webcam lens today.
You look great. You look fine.
Oh, thanks. Hopefully I sound better than I look.
Oh, you definitely sound way better.
Sick. Awesome. That's why I'm a musician and not like an actor.
Oh yeah. Same here. Same here. But we have our place in society for a reason.
Yes, we know. We know where we belong.
Oh yeah. And it's not on the cover of Vogue.
Unfortunately, no. Although I was just featured in People magazine, weirdly.
That's
Uh,
really cool.
I mean, not featured. I played a wedding for Sam Darnold, like the Super Bowl winning
Yeah.
quarterback, Seattle Seahawks guy. I played his wedding, and it was featured in People magazine. And there's like, if you look through the People article, there's no pictures where you clearly see me, which kind of pisses me off. There's multiple pictures where they show like Sam and his wife rocking out and then like the band behind him, but on all of the pictures, like I'm just barely out of frame.
Oh,
Um, but if you go on the like Sam Darnold's Instagram, there's all these videos and all these like People magazine tagging him in videos, and then like other outlets tagging him in videos, and there are a bunch of places where you can see like me headbanging with Sam Darnold just like slack jawed, like in awe, watching me headbang, and it's like I think we played like Sweet Child of Mine and a bunch of other stuff, and he and his
yeah.
wife were just like, "What?" It's a
I
lot of
love
fun.
it. Dude, that's such a cool gig.
That was a very cool gig. It was a lot of fun. It was an honor to be there.
Where do I probably shouldn't ask, but where was his wedding at? It wasn't in Seattle, was it?
No, I don't know where he lives. Maybe he lives in Seattle. I'm not sure, but the wedding itself was in San Diego.
Okay. That
I think
makes
his
sense.
wife's family is all from San Diego, so they had it was like a beautiful country club resort area up in the hills above San Diego. Gorgeous,
Oh,
gorgeous setting.
I get you now.
Yeah,
That does sound really beautiful. San
it was
Diego's
so
kind of
nice.
it it's an underrated place for its beauty, except for like San Diego proper. Then it's a little strange.
Well, I agree actually. This was my first time really getting to explore San Diego, which is weird because I'm technically from California. Like I was born in Northern Cal, and I've spent so much time playing music in LA over the years. But this was the first time that I've had a gig in San Diego and had like a couple of extra days to wander around the city, explore like the oceanfront areas, walk around downtown. Man, it's gorgeous. It's kind of redeemed Southern California for me, honestly. I've never really been a huge fan of Southern Cal just because I don't know, I'm a NorCal guy. Like I was born in the
Yeah.
redwoods. Like I love the forest and the mountains and the like beautiful, like the Northern California beaches where you have cliffs right up to the beach with redwood forests like right next to the ocean. Like that's to me is what I love about California. So I've always gone down to LA, and everybody's in love with LA. Everybody has this like infatuation with Los Angeles, but I've always been like, I don't know, man. It's kind of hot, and like a lot of it's just trashy and ugly, and there's too many people, and traffic sucks, and it's hard to find parking anywhere, and everything's way more expensive than it should be, and the beaches are crowded, and like I don't know. I've just never been a huge fan, but San Diego redeemed it. I'm now in love with San Diego.
I went to LA recently, like I went in February,
Hmm.
and they've actually like all the trashiness of the LA Strip, Hollywood Boulevard is not as bad anymore. But I have a feeling that's because the Olympics are going to be there soon,
They're
so they
cleaning up.
uh, you
And
got
I
to
mean,
remove all the bad stuff so it looks good when all the people all around the world are coming to, do Olympic things.
To be clear, I'm being a little bit unfair to LA. There are areas of LA that I love. Like I
Oh,
really
sure.
enjoy Santa Monica. I really enjoy like the Venice Beach area and I even Long Beach is really cool. There are places that I love, but overall I just feel like as a whole LA is way overhyped, I feel like.
Oh, 1000%. It's very, very cool. And, when you go there, it is fun. But there is this certain thing. Obviously, there's a difference between visiting and staying there.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
the prices alone would probably steer most people away from ever setting foot in LA again.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's just there's a certain vibe to it. You have to go at the right time, of course. And like I said, they're doing some things. How permanent that stays is entirely dependent on, well, their whole governmental ecosystem
Right.
and how they like to keep their, whole state, honestly. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, San Francisco, uh, my aunt, her, she's a flight attendant, so her base is in San Francisco, and she has a friend that lives there. And when her daughter and her friend go for walks, they play Is It Human or Dog? And you can probably guess what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, yeah, okay. That sounds like a game I could have played walking around San Fran before. With that said though, I there's something about San Fran that I really love. I prefer San Fran over LA, even though it can be a little sketchy and dodgy sometimes, but honestly, there's something about that city. It really does feel like West Coast New York. And there's just something so exciting and fun and metropolitan about it that I don't get out of LA.
Yeah. LA's like, how do you put it? If LA is like Instagram, TikTok, San Francisco is like Facebook. Like
Nice. Yep.
Facebook is very like a you get what you get, very metropolitan-esque in a way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's fair. It's
and
kind
then
of like
like
more of a
San
melting
Diego.
pot situation.
San Diego's MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace. It's like the OG that we've all forgotten about, and if we only knew how good we had it back in the day.
I feel like people don't talk about San Diego enough.
hmm Oh, for sure. It gets overlooked a little bit, but yeah, it's a beautiful town. Now I want to take my family there because there's like so much cool family stuff to explore. So
I definitely want to go check out San Diego and really immerse myself in the area, if you will.
yeah, yeah, totally, man. Well, we never like officially started this
No, we
podcast. I
didn't.
think we should probably do an intro of some
Oh
sort, I
yeah.
suppose.
Well, in case you guys don't know who we are, I'm your host of the Mullins Over Music Podcast, Austin, and I'm here with a returning guest, my friend Rylee McDonald. Thank you for coming on, my friend.
Hey, 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 good to be here.
I mean, we've already started the podcast off with a pretty interesting conversation, but we're gonna steer a little bit back toward what the main reason we came here for, and that is your new record for
My
Advent
new
Horizon. I'm excited for it, man.
We are also excited. I mean, we're of course I'm gonna say that. It's our album, it's our baby. We're gonna be stoked, but yeah, I don't even know where to start, man. I'm so honored and excited to have the opportunity to release more music to the world. It's very exciting.
I've been waiting for it because it is your last record, fantastic. I love it. And the two songs that you have put out so far, which we're gonna deep dive into those a little bit in a minute. They're fantastic too, so I've been excited. And I didn't realize you were putting out an album. Well, you told me a while ago that your plan was for this year.
Yeah.
And so I reconvened back and you were like, "Oh yeah, actually we're putting it out this time." And I was like, Oh, well, now I have to have you come on the podcast and
And
talk
here we
about it.
are. I
That's
know,
right.
man. I honestly can't believe how quickly this album came together. Because I mean, I think we talked a little bit about on the last podcast we did how long it took us to make our previous album, Cell to Call Home. It was like a 7 or 8 year time frame for that one. But this album, we released Cell to Call Home in the end of 2023. And
Yeah.
I think within a year of that date, I had this whole new album completely written and ready to go. It came together so organically and naturally and seamlessly, uh, which was incredibly refreshing compared to the years of just labor that went into making Cell to Call Home.
I mean, you know how writing music can be. It can take forever to write one song, but sometimes it just takes 5 seconds to write um a brand new song right off the dome, fully
Right.
realized. And there's no one way to be like, oh, well, this is how you do it so you can write it really quickly, or this is one way you can do it to take forever to write the song.
Both
So,
are valid approaches. It's just you don't always get to choose which method you use. You know, the inspiration comes when it comes, and when it doesn't come, sometimes you got to spend month after month after month rehashing ideas over and over and over and over until you get something good.
oh, absolutely. Well, I want to talk about the two new songs that are currently out as of the recording
Sure.
of this episode. Let's, ooh, which one do I want to break down first? That's the real question. Because they're both really good, but well, since Spotify wanted to pull up Past Life Parable, let's talk about that one first.
That's good because that's chronological. We released that one first anyway.
Well, tell me a little bit about it. First off, that artwork is sick. And I know you shared a little bit about it on your Instagram,
hmm
but just for the people who have not seen that post, tell us about the artwork for not only just the two singles, but the record.
Yeah, so the artwork for this whole album was designed by Travis Smith, actually a San Diego guy, as it happens, via our earlier conversation. Travis is the guy who handled all of the artwork for oh man, so many albums that I grew up loving. Like he does all of Opeth's artwork, all of Mastodon, Lamb of God, a lot of Megadeth. He handles a lot of Devin Townsend's artwork. He's just legendary in the progressive music and metal world. And we were connected him to him through a good friend of ours, Austin Coquel. Uh, it would have been about a year prior to releasing Cell to Call Home. So Austin connected us with Travis, and Travis heard the demos for Cell to Call Home, was interested, and worked with us. So Travis did all of the artwork for all of the Cell to Call Home stuff. And then it was, I mean, he knocked it out of the park with that album. So it was kind of a no-brainer when we were thinking about, okay, how are we doing artwork for our new record? There was really no question in my mind. It was Travis from the get-go. I reached out to Travis. I guess it was a probably close to a year ago now, and we spent about 6 months coming up with all the concepts for the new album artwork. And the artwork on this one, it was Mike and I, so our drummer Mike and I, we came up with the artwork concepts together, and then we sent the basic ideas to Travis, and Travis kind of helped us flesh them out and turn them into full ideas that could be visualized. And overall, so this album is. I mean, there's a lot we can dive into about the significance of this album for me personally, but just kind of in like a one sentence synopsis in a nutshell, this album is about my journey of self-discovery, and kind of gradual journey away from my religious upbringing. And so there's a lot of symbolism in the lyrics of this album, but also in the visuals that we wanted to tie together. And so the album artwork, if you look at it, a lot of it is symbolic of my personal journey that I've taken over the last decade. For Past Life Parable specifically, there's a tree in the artwork that kind of resembles. For those who know Mormon lore, there's a story in Mormonism called the Tree of Life, and
Yeah.
this tree resembles the Tree of Life. and there's a character slowly walking away from the tree of life. He's walking towards the left-hand side of the image, which those again who are familiar with Mormonism, there's a Mormon phrase that says choose the right, and the character's walking towards the left. And then there's also the character is holding a flower. It's a goldenrod flower. There's another Mormon saying that says hold to the rod, the iron rod. So we wanted to have him holding a goldenrod as he's walking away towards the left instead of the right from the tree of life. So very, very symbolic there.
Awesome.
The album cover is similar in that way. It's the album is called Falling Together, and it is this whole thing, this whole story and the personal context is me and my wife, Kristen, and our journey together, kind of gradually finding what we do believe and what we hold dear, and realizing that what we truly care about and believe in life, the things that are important to us are not contingent upon our religious beliefs. And so we've gradually fallen away from organized religion, and we have fallen together in that context. So the album cover shows two characters falling kind of out of a celestial, heavenly looking place towards the lone and dreary world below.
That is, I zooming in on the album artwork. There's so many details to the characters too that you just don't even realize
Yeah,
looking
you
at it in its little tiny square on
I
regular
know.
Instagram. It's so
Yep.
pretty. Like
It's
I could
gorgeous,
talk about
man.
the artwork all day. It's just so cool looking.
Same, man. I'm so thankful to Travis for his attention to detail, his willingness. Like I said, it was a 6 month period of us going back and forth every week on emails about the tiniest details within the artwork. And it just, when it finally all came into focus, we all had this email thread where we were like, okay, I don't think there's any way we could possibly improve on this anymore. It is perfect. Let's go.
1000%. Well, dude, first off, that's that first you explain the idea behind past life parable. Is there anything else in particular about the story of that song that you didn't quite go over?
Yeah, so I think that song, like I said, the album in general is kind of about my overall journey that I've taken personally. That song in specific, though, is more about the feeling of looking back on the years of your life that you devoted to something that no longer means as much to you. So, like in my context, that's obviously I spent the first 20 something years of my life going to church all the time and learning scriptures and reciting all these things and paying tithing to the church. And like it was a really intense investment emotionally, physically, mentally, time wise, like just everything. You devote so much of your life to that spiritual side of your life, and then when that falls away, when the meaning of that no longer holds significance to you, it can be tough to look back and go, man, like what have I devoted my life to? Like what have I done? And kind of like trying to figure out how trying to parse through my feelings on all of that basically. So like for me that's really what it's about, but I think that general idea can be applied to so many areas, man. Like we as human beings, we all have moments of change in our lives where our lives something happens that makes us shift course. And it doesn't have to be religious. It could be a career path, it could be a hobby, it could be a serious relationship. And it is hard in that moment. It's painful to look back on all the energy that you invested into that thing, and now you're leaving that thing behind. And I think that right there can be why so many people have such a hard time pulling themselves out of bad relationships, of careers that are not doing them any good. It's the sunk cost fallacy thing, right? Like, oh, I've put too much into this. I can't leave it now. But I think that a valuable lesson that we can all learn as humans is that progression is important, and sometimes you have to shed your past self in order to emerge stronger and more resilient.
Oh, absolutely. Well, let's talk about Face Window because as I had said, that is probably going to be my favorite song. It's really powerful. The music is fantastic. Uh,
Yeah, thank you.
tell me about this song in specific. Tell me the story, if you will.
Yeah, so this song is, I mean, it's my personal favorite song on the record. So, it means a lot to me to hear you say such good things about it. This song is one of those you mentioned earlier, like, yeah, sometimes you write a song and it just comes to you within 5 minutes or whatever. That is literally how this song was written. My drummer Mike and I were sitting next to a lake up in the mountains in Utah, and it was just like this beautiful day, like storm clouds off in the distance rolling over us, and like occasionally a little bit of misty rain would fall, and you're seeing like the raindrops on the lake and hearing the sounds of the trees and the wind around you. Just imagine that peaceful, serene environment. How could you not be inspired in a place like that? And so I picked up the guitar, and yeah, it couldn't have been more than like 40 minutes to an hour from when I started playing to when I had all of the riffs for that song written on guitar. And then I think I even had a lot of the melodic ideas for it that came to me in that moment where I'm playing through chords, and I think the faith is a window we can't look through. Like that melody
Yeah.
came to me in that moment. Even if I didn't have the words yet, I knew what the melody was right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And it's so gratifying as a songwriter. Like it's almost like you feel like you've been handed a song, not like you actually worked for
Yeah.
it. Like somebody gave me this idea and I don't know where it came from. But yeah, so that song came together very organically, and I'm so proud of how it built itself. As far as the content of that song, like yeah, it's obviously it's a similar theme to the other songs on the album. This one is a little bit more about I don't want to go too deep down a
Yeah.
rabbit hole in this because it can be a touchy subject for a lot of people, but it's about like morality and sexuality and repression in certain societies, and the way that you are built to suppress your feelings when you're a young person, a teenager, whatever, when you're learning and self-discovery and all that and hormones, like you are taught in many cultures, I think, to repress these feelings until marriage. And then suddenly you're supposed to just get married and like, okay, everything goes and you're fine now. Like I think that is mentally harmful and taxing to have to suppress your emotions and your feelings for so many years and then expect yourself to be able to just flip a switch and everything's going to be okay once you're married. I could go a lot more. There's so much you can talk about and like dive into with that, but it's the song kind of in a nutshell is that it's about like my feelings towards the way that I was raised and how harmful it can be, and trying to open myself up mentally and dissect all of the repression that happened through the years, that through the years of religious upbringing and all that.
I like that. And I mean, we could go on and on about how the music's written. I mean, it is just beautiful how you wrote that. I mean, not that all your music that you write is very beautiful, in my opinion, but we have to talk about sort of the wild song on the track list, and that is the first track. It is 19 minutes long. We got to
Yes.
talk about that. Why
The
is it
first
19
song,
minutes
man.
long? Let me hear it. Why? First song on the record too. Not that I'm upset about that. I mean,
Well,
I love
uh
Iron Maiden, so I'm bound to hit their long tracks
oh
anytime.
yeah, for sure. And I grew up listening to a lot of prog rock stuff. Like Rush was my favorite band growing up, and they had a lot of long songs. Even Led Zeppelin had some fairly long songs in
Yeah.
their discography. You talk about Iron Maiden and Yes and Genesis, and Pink Floyd had some epics. So I grew up listening to these bands that would release these epic songs, and it's always been a little sad to me that that's the art of an epic song has been a little bit lost in recent decades. And I don't know that it's not like it doesn't exist. There are certainly modern bands that release epic songs, like Dream Theater's all about that, and Porcupine Trees released their share. There's plenty of progressive rock bands that have, but I've just always wanted to try my hand at writing something longer. Our past albums, Cell to Call Home and Stagehound, both had
10 minutes.
one track on each album that clocked in just over 10 minutes, which that's for me personally like my own definition. If a song gets past the 10-minute mark, then it feels like an epic song to me.
Yeah.
So I've always called those epics, but a true like if you want to get really epic, I feel like you got to be beyond 15 minutes. And so yeah, so that was kind of like something that I wanted to try my hand at with this album, writing a longer format song. And that song in particular, which the world has not yet heard, but that, pretty soon here in the coming weeks, it'll be
Oh
out
yeah.
and everybody will hear it. It is the heaviest thing we've ever written. It is the most like dense thing we've ever written as far as like the journey that it takes you on. Man, it is all over the place. There are like beautiful flowing acoustic classical guitar solo sections. There are all out like headbanging screaming sections. There are gent guitar riff crazy sections. There are shredding guitar solos. There are harmony like vocal stacks. It's like everything that we've ever done in our music has been condensed into this one song, and it all just takes you on this epic journey through it. And it's a lot. It's gonna be a freaking beast to put this thing together live, which we're working on it. We have a show a month from now, and we're gonna be performing this
Ooh, I
live.
can't wait. I can't wait
It's
to see it live.
Dude, it's gonna be amazing. I'm stoked, but I'm also a little bit stressed because it's a lot to put together.
For
It's
sure.
it's a daunting task, but we're up for it, and I'm excited. So yeah, I mean, for me, this is kind of like our 2112, which I realize that's a very lofty statement, but that's kind of the way that I see this. This is me taking a crack at writing something epic in the vein of 2112 by Rush.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to hear it personally. But I do like a good long song. I mean, what is that Tears of the Clown or whatever it is from Book of Souls?
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember what it's called exactly, but that song cracks 24 minutes. And there are bands that can take a long song. Well, there are bands that can take a short song and make it feel like a really, really long song.
Yep.
And then you got bands that can take a really, really long song and make it feel like you didn't get enough of it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
for sure.
given the way you write, I think it'll definitely be the latter.
Sick. I love that. And I honestly, I think it's a lot of fun to try a little bit of both of those. Like so there's something that I've always liked doing with shorter songs where I call them mini epics. And each of our albums has a few of these where it's a shorter song, but it doesn't follow the traditional structure of like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, end. Like there will be several songs on each of our albums where it'll have like a couple verses and choruses, but then it takes you totally off the rails to somewhere you did not expect it to go. Past Life Parable is an example of that, where the first 3 minutes of that, or like 2.5 minutes of that song, are kind of your typical like pop song structure, rock, pop, whatever song structure. But then the last half of that song is unexpected and does exactly the opposite of what the rest of the song does. And I like that. I like doing the mini epic thing, but I've had so much experience with the mini epics that it felt like it was time to try an actual epic. So yeah, anyway, I mean, there's more we could talk about with this song, but to be honest, I'm kind of just want to like let people go into it a little bit blind
Yeah.
and just experience it for the first time, not really knowing a lot, and see what everyone thinks.
Oh, for sure. Well, we have to talk about the one in between the two singles, Patience, which I'm sure you've given a lot of patience to waiting for me to talk about Patience. I
Yeah,
do have a question before we get into it.
yeah.
So, I've been doing this thing now where I look at a track listing and give you a random question based on the title.
Oh, fun.
And I have one for this one.
Okay.
what is something that you just absolutely had no patience for? And what is something
Hmm.
you put a lot of patience into?
Dude, I mean, are you talking about with this album specifically, like with the
We could
production or
talk
the
about
process
this
of the album?
record, or you can just talk about in general. Totally up to you. Interpret the question how you will.
Ooh, okay, something I have no patience for. Um,
Pro Tools crashing for one.
well, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a whole I could go into I could go down a rabbit hole of things that piss me off in production settings. But yeah, okay. I've never really been one to spend a whole lot of time like fine tuning things in the studio. Um, I like to I like to know what things sound good before I go into the studio and not spend a lot of time tweaking one knob. I'm not patient with that kind of stuff. I want to get into the studio and I want to work fast and I want to crank out all the guitar parts and get the vocals as fast as I can. And of course, within reason, you have to at
Yeah.
least do enough takes that it sounds good. But with this album, I tried really hard to get organic performances of the guitar, the vocals, the keyboards that weren't too rehearsed because I feel like there's some sort of beauty in I mean, this is the reason that we love live music, right? That it feels real. It doesn't feel like it's been doctored and doctored and doctored and doctored until it's unrealistically perfect. I want to hear I want to hear the guitar player getting too excited and bending the strings slightly too far on a note on a solo. I want to hear the vocalist like hit a note but maybe not quite perfect and then slide up into the note. Like I want to hear the human element of the performance. So yeah, I'd say with this album that's something that I didn't let myself have patience for. I forced myself to kind of like work naturally and quickly and just get the real raw performances in a short time frame, which is a difference from Cell to Call Home, by the way. On a Cell to Call Home, we kind of did the opposite. Every single guitar part we would spend hours working on. Every vocal part we would do 40, 50 takes of. Um, so that is a difference between these two albums. And I don't know. I mean, I suppose it'll be up to the listener, I think, to decide which one yields a better result.
Oh, for sure. Now, what is something you have a lot of patience for?
Um,
We can talk about
hmm,
like
hmm.
with this record, if you will, or just in general. Up to
Just
you
in general.
again.
Let me think. I mean, so the ironic thing here is that the first line in the song Patience, the first words of that song are Patience is part of a laundry list of traits I don't possess. And I think that song in
Same.
general is it's kind of just about like my tendency to jump at opportunity when it comes to me. Like when I see something, I tend to run in and grab it and just go for it. I get an opportunity to play a cool show. I don't sit and weigh the pros and cons and figure out is this realistic? I just go, "Oh, that's a cool opportunity. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to play this show." And that in part is why at least I like to think it's part of why I've been able to succeed at some level in the music world is that I'm not someone to sit on the sidelines and like plan for years before executing my plans. I just jump in head first. So yeah, I don't tend to naturally be an extremely patient person, but there are areas where there's exceptions to that. Like as a parent, I think it's important when you're raising kids to be patient, because kids aren't gonna just get things on the first try every time. I've been teaching my kids how to snowboard this winter,
Oh,
and
cool.
you on some level you do kind of have to just like set them down on the slope and say, "Okay, go for it, kid," and let them
Yeah.
fall and let them fail. But also, as a parent, you have to have enough patience to put your own emotions aside when you get worked up about something and sit with your kid and commiserate with them and empathize with them and say, look, I know how hard this is. I'm sorry you're crying. I'm sorry you feel so distraught about how hard it is to figure out snowboarding. I know it's cold. I know it hurts. You have to be able to take the time to understand where they're coming from as a child and put yourself in their shoes a little bit. So I've kind of been forced. I would say parenting is the thing that has forced me to learn to have patience in my life.
I like that. I mean, I'll be honest, when I was a kid, no patience whatsoever. I was so bad about I'm still a little bit impatient today, but I have learned a lot of patience that I did not have when I was a kid. I was very much I guess we all had a little bit of ADHD when we were growing up, but that's just how kids are. So,
Right?
you know, I was very much like we got to get things done. I mean, I have anxiety about being late to things. So, my lack of patience when oh, like in traffic for one. My patience is like zero, which I guess to be fair, most people don't have patience for traffic, but
Yeah,
being
you're not
late to,
alone there.
yeah, being late to things gives me so much anxiety. I don't have patience for when things start to decrease the amount of time it takes for me to have to get places.
Right.
So if I need to be at a doctor's appointment at 3 o'clock, I need to leave. Even if it's 30 minutes down the road, I need to leave like hour and a half beforehand.
So you're the one that shows up to the airport like 3 hours before, not like an hour and a half to 2 hours before.
Um, Airport is a little different. I get the benefit, shout out to my aunt, to fly free on standby. So
Oh,
you
cool.
you have to have patience just because you're like,
You
it might be an all day affair for you to get a good flight or to get
Yeah.
from one place to the other. I mean, going to LA, like we were talking earlier, we went here to Chicago, I think Chicago, or we went to Houston. We somewhere in the middle, and
Mhm.
then we went from there to LA. And then on the way back, we went LA to Newark to back home.
Wow.
So you got to have a lot of patience when it
Yeah.
comes to that stuff.
Yeah, flying standby can be rough. I mean, it's amazing to get the free flights out of it for sure. Like take advantage of that. But I watch the people who are flying standby going, okay, are we gonna get on this flight? Are we gonna get on? Are we gonna get on? It's got to be a little nerve-wracking every time, and
It,
it's
it
patient. You
can
got to
be.
have the patience.
Oh yeah, I try to make sure if I'm going somewhere on a flight that either the way it's set up, I don't have to worry about it because there's like 30 open seats.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I really don't have to think about it. Or if it's kind of iffy throughout the day, I make sure I have enough time in the day to where it's like, well, if I don't get on this first flight, I have six other different options for me to get there.
Yeah, you'll get
And
there
I'll get it.
eventually.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Just go hang out in the lounge for a bit or whatever you got to do.
exactly.
Yep.
Take a nap. Well, maybe not in the airport, depending on the airport.
Some airports are super cozy. I've been impressed with some of them, but the majority are not not
No,
napping places.
no shout outs to Chicago O'Hare. In fact,
Oh
I
gosh,
call this an
it's such a
unshout out.
chaotic airport.
Dude,
Yep.
literally one of my least favorite airports next to the Houston airport.
Hmm. Yeah, if you like walking, Houston's great, I suppose.
Oh yeah. There's another one really huge for like walking. I don't remember where I went. You know what it was? It was Tampa Airport.
Mm.
I went to the Tampa Airport, and their airport, the way it's set up, they have tram like carts in the top, but you have to go down and then go up certain ways to get to like terminal A or terminal B. You have to walk down, take a tram over here, walk down to the other tram and take the other tram.
Uh, oh
So
gosh.
confusing. It broke me. I was like, I think I might be stuck here for the rest of my life.
This is where I live now.
Exactly.
Feel like Tom Hanks. It was Tom Hanks, right? In that Terminal
Yeah.
movie. Yep.
What was that movie called though? I
The
keep seeing
Terminal,
clips
I
for it.
believe.
Oh, well, that would make sense. I keep seeing YouTube reels of it.
It's like the
And
most fascinating and simultaneously boring movie ever. It was
exactly.
like, but it was perfect. It was exactly what it needed to be.
Have you seen I think it's called The Circle. It
Mm-mm.
not the TV show, but I think it's a movie called The Circle. I'll send it to you later just to remind you. It all takes place in a room that's dark where everybody is standing on a circle and somebody dies every 3 minutes and they're trying to figure out how you survive, how it's determined who dies, and
Whoa.
what they're doing there and why. It's a
Oh
psychological
my
film, but it
gosh.
all takes place except for the final scene where the one person survives.
Mhm.
It all takes place in one area.
Whoa. Is this like a full-length film?
Yeah, it's like almost an hour and a half.
Wild.
And it
That's
was really
crazy. I
good.
mean, that's you got to have such good storytelling, dialogue, and like cinematography to make something like that interesting as a viewer. That's interesting. I'll have to check that out.
And the funny thing is, I think it's like a student film
Oh, cool.
because unfortunately, if you look very closely, you see somebody get dragged back in one of
Nice.
the parts because um it's not quite dark enough for you to not see him being
Right.
removed from the area. But let's talk about Patience. What is this song about? Let me hear it.
Yeah, I mean, patience, like I said, it's really kind of just about me not I just have a hard time waiting for things. If I want something, I figure out a way to make it happen. And sometimes that's a really good thing. It's good to be ambitious, but there are a lot of areas in my life where that has come to hurt me, you know. There are places where patience is a good thing. It's good to be able to sit back and allow things to take their natural course. So, yeah, I don't know that there's any like lesson or takeaway from the song. It's kind of just evaluating my internal dialogue about how I tend to operate in my life.
Okay. I like that.
Also,
Well,
it does not have a lot of lyrics either. I think there's
okay.
like two verses and then the chorus is basically just like a couple words. So it's very simple lyrically.
Okay. So it's a little more on the instrument heavy side.
Very instrument heavy. It's a heavy song. It's one of the heavier ones on the record. And then the end of the song is maybe the most epic riff we've ever written as far as just like I imagine that riff being one that like everybody in the crowd is just like headbanging to and like the light show's going crazy. It's like a
Oh,
minute and a half long segment of the same riff playing on repeat, but every time it plays it gets bigger and louder and we add things and add things and add things until it's just like this massive epic like symphony of rock instrumentation.
I
So
love it.
it's pretty sick. I'm excited for people to hear it.
Oh, I'm excited to hear it. Well, let's talk about these two songs are related, Gravity
Mhm.
1 and Gravity 2.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. First off, why are they related?
Uh, so they were written together. They were actually written as one song.
Okay.
They were it's a single like close to 8 minute long piece. Um, but Gravity One is instrumental. It had a so this piece that I made, this 8 minute long piece, like the first 2.5 minutes of it was all instrumental, and then it jumps into the main chunk of the song that's like 5.5 minutes long or something and then there's lyrics and choruses and epic stuff from there. And as we were putting it all together, we were like, we could make this one track, but I kind of want people to be able to just listen to the end of it if they want to, because the end is so catchy. Like the end on its own almost works as its own like single for the album. So yeah, so anyway, it's intended to be listened to seamlessly, Gravity 1 and Gravity 2, but Gravity 2 is like the meat and potatoes of the song, and Gravity 1 is like a beautiful instrumental interlude. Um I kind of I placed it intentionally Like I wrote it knowing that it would occupy this particular space in the album because at this point you've had In a Lone and Dreary World, which is a 19-minute progressive metal just like shred fest.
I love
And
it.
then Patience, which is like pretty heavy and like gritty and intense. And then Faith's Window, which is like emotionally intense and gets pretty metal and heavy. And then you have Past Life Parable, which is also pretty heavy. You've kind of just have like banger to banger to banger to banger to banger up to this point in the album. And it felt like we needed at least like a little bit of a reprieve from all of that just intensity. So Gravity 1 was built to give you kind of like an opportunity to take a breath, just be surrounded by beautiful cinematic sounding music before it throws you into Gravity 2, which gets back to the heavy, intense prog metal stuff.
Okay, I like it. Let's move on to number 7 because it is called Animals. And by the way, I would just like to note, thank you for not putting your last track as a single. A lot of bands have been doing that over the past couple years. It drives me insane.
That's interesting. I did not realize that was a trend lately. Huh.
It's become a huge trend, and I'm like, but now I know how the album's going to end, and
I know.
I
It's like now I don't want to listen to the album all the way through anymore.
yeah, like you leave the intentionally like I don't know about you, but I always think that the last track it ends the record, and you
Mhm.
have to be particular about how you end a record in general, but especially with that last track. And if you show all your you're showing your cards, all of them, if
Right.
you show that ending track first, in my
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I like there's probably exceptions to the rule where there are albums where like the last song just needed to be a single and it worked, but I think in general as a rule of thumb, I don't like the idea of like you said showing all your cards right away. Um I've always thought that the last song on an album is kind of like sacred territory. You know,
yeah,
looking back at a lot of my favorite albums growing up, the last track, like you look at like Eclipse from Dark Side of the Moon, um, uh, gosh, Rush is like legendary at like the last track on every Rush album. They do such a good job of like the song ends and it's almost like as the listener, you have to let the song end and you need to sit in silence for a few seconds and just go, whew, like and just like think about what you just heard. Like I love album endings that make you do that, that make you just sit and think. So yeah, that's kind of always been my goal with every one of our albums. The last track on the album has always been either like a beautiful emotional acoustic ballad or just a really like with Cell to Call Home we had Hold Me, which was like the most emotionally intense song on that album. I've always wanted to make people feel things with the last song, and Animals is exactly that. So with Animals, this particular song is about my uh my processing the purpose of life and mortality in in the context of no longer being religious per se. Like what do I believe? If I don't know if there's a God, if I don't know what I believe spiritually, then what is the purpose of life? Because at its core, I think that's the reason religion exists, right? Is to like give us purpose, to give us, to put a name to what this existence is. And so I've spent a lot of time thinking about all of that. And I think I don't know that I've drawn any solid conclusions as to what I personally believe, but I have come to the firm conclusion that life is a beautiful thing, and whether we've been put here by a god or whether we just exist out of sheer luck and science and biology, either way, the fact that we are all here as human beings and the shared experience that we have is a profoundly beautiful thing, and every day is something to be appreciated and cherished. And I think that's kind of the vibe that I try to get through with that song. And I hope that people will view it as an uplifting song and not as like a not as like a sad song because I think it could potentially be perceived either way. But for me, it's uplifting. For me, it's the message of like life is beautiful, live it.
I love that. And we've gone through every track.
Yeah.
Thank you for going over each of these tracks because I really wanted to hear specifically about the two songs that are out, but just all of them in general. I can't wait to hear it. Um, we're just about out of time because I know you got things to do.
I do got to
But
jump off in a minute here, but you know, we got a few minutes
yeah,
if you
we
got
got a few minutes.
another question or two.
I've got just a few more, and that
Okay.
is the first one is, well, is there anything that we left out about this record that you wanted to share with the world?
Um, well, it's produced. I would like to give a shout out to our producer and recording engineer Zach Borman. He's a great friend of ours, and he does absolutely incredible work. I'm so proud of what we've done. Cell to Call Home was almost entirely self-produced. Like I mixed that album in my basement, but for this album, I wanted to bring in someone on the outside who's not quite as connected with the music emotionally,
Yeah.
you know, somebody who can make better objective decisions about how it should be mixed, how it should come together. And our good friend Zach, he stepped into that role beautifully, and I'm just so grateful to him. So yeah, anybody, if there are any musicians listening to this who are interested in working with just an absolutely incredible audio engineer, definitely talk with Zach Borman, Cold House Studios in Provo, Utah. If you have to travel across the country to work with Zach, he is one of the best in the industry, and I believe he's going to be like a very well-known name before too long in the music world.
I love it. Um, well, that just about wraps things up here. I do have one question before we get to the final questions. You've done those
Hmm.
before.
For sure.
How do you like your new Line 6? You got the stadium, right?
I did. I got the Helix Stadium.
You've had it for a bit. Tell me about it. Do you like
Yeah.
it?
So okay, I I do love it. I'm excited about it. It's definitely a big step up from the original Helix. Like they Line 6 has done a great job of building an just ridiculously easy to use like user interface for it. It's absolutely insane how fast it is to program new patches on this thing. Like it knocks all of the other competition out of the water in that department. So very user friendly, very awesome, very quick. And also the way that it like integrates with the app that you can install on your computer, it connects wirelessly to your computer so you can like edit
Nice.
presets on the computer and it just automatically uploads to the Helix. You can upload your presets to like the Line 6 cloud so that they're just saved there. And anytime if you ever need to like travel to another city and use someone else's Helix, you just log into your Helix account and like get your presets off of the cloud right
Oh,
there. So there's some really, really cool functionality they've built into it. Um, with all of that said, it is a new piece of equipment and they are still ironing out the kinks. They're still working through things because there have been some pretty significant and sometimes hilarious and infuriating glitches that I've encountered with it. There was one time, this has actually happened twice now, where I'm on stage, I'm playing music like at a wedding or something, and I go to do a guitar solo and I put like a delay. I have like a pre or a snapshot that has like a really like loud, intense lead guitar tone for guitar solos with a really cool delay on it, like a stereo delay sound.
yeah.
And but then when I finish the guitar solo and go back to like my clean guitar sound,
The
the
delay is
delay
still
doesn't turn off. And it's more than that the delay doesn't turn off, is that the delay gets stuck on infinite repeats, repeating the last note of the guitar solo. And nothing that I can do will stop it. I can like manually turn off the delay and the repeat is still going. I had to actually
oh,
turn off the Helix and reboot it in the middle of a song, which that's the
whoa.
other thing. The new Helix takes forever forever to boot up. It's like, I want to say it's close to a minute long boot cycle. So
Ooh,
whereas like the old Helix, it would boot up, it wasn't super quick, but it wasn't
30
super
seconds.
slow. Yeah, it was like maybe 20 to 30 seconds. But this is like you hit the power button and nothing happens. You don't see any lights, the screen doesn't flash, nothing happens, and you're like, is it working? And then like 10 to 15 seconds later, then the screen turns on. And then it's just like a basic loading screen for like another 40 seconds until it finally populates. So I'm hoping they can fix that. I'm
Oh yeah.
hoping they can make it a quicker load process. I'm hoping they can iron out the live glitches with the delay. But overall, it's an amazing piece of gear. And I think once they work through the kinks, it's going to be like the best on the market and it's all anybody's going to want to use.
That's awesome. Well, you heard it here, folks. Line 6, send me one.
Yes. Send us both one. I'll take
Yeah.
a second, please.
Oh yeah. But thank you so much for coming on, my friend. It was great to chat with you. Of
Yeah,
course,
man.
shout out and plugs. Plug the new record, plug yourself. Let's hear all that stuff.
All the things. Yeah, so our new album, Falling Together, will be released on vinyl and CD and digital on May 15th, 2026. I should say, caveat, on Spotify, we are slow dripping the songs because that's kind of the way you have to do it as an artist nowadays. So on May 15th, the first song, the epic song, will be out on Spotify. On June 15th, Patience will be out. On July 15th, Gravity will be out, 1 and 2. On August 15th, Animals will be out. And at that point, we'll have the whole album on Spotify. So if you want to hear the full album on May 15th, go buy a copy. Bandcamp, through our website, adventhorizonmusic.com. We have links right on the front page to our Bandcamp as well as our distributors to get physical copies. So yeah, May 15th, grab yourselves a copy. Follow us on Instagram. It's at Advent Horizon. Facebook, I think it's Advent Horizon Band or Advent Horizon Music. I don't know. Just search Advent Horizon. Our YouTube, we've got a bunch of videos. Something I'm excited about with this new album is that we are releasing live performance videos, or well, they're not live, they're playthrough videos
Yeah.
but for every single song on the album, including the 20-minute epic, we have full playthrough videos for every song. So go subscribe to our YouTube because every month it's going to be a new video dropping for like the next 5 months.
I can't wait for that. Especially the epic. I can't wait to see your intensity on your face as you're going through it because
Dude,
I know it'll be intense.
I'm so stoked, man. I'm so stoked.
Well, we only have one last question, and it's the same one I ended with last time. What song do you want to have as the outro track
Ooh, for this episode,
for
what
this
songs?
episode?
Ooh, man. I don't know. Like, I feel like Faith's Window would be a good theme because that's kind of the one we were gushing about on
Yeah.
this. Why don't we just do Faith's Window?
Okay.
Put the last chorus of Faith's Window on there.
Okay. That sounds good to me.
Sweet.
Again, thank you so much for coming on, my friend. You guys know what to do. Follow Advent Horizon. Follow Rylee. Go hit the buttons, the bells, the whistles, and we'll see you on the next one.
Absolutely. Thanks, Austin. Good talking
Thank
with you,
you.
man.
This has been Mullins Over Music Podcast, episode 88, with your host, producer, and editor, that's me, Austin Mullins. Special thanks to guest Rylee McDonald of Advent Horizon. You can find Rylee at Rylee McDonald and Advent Horizon at Advent Horizon on all socials. Their new record, Falling Together, is available for purchase on their merch store and website. You can also listen to all the singles on all streaming platforms as they continue to release the tracks from the album to streaming. Thanks to Rylee for chatting with me again. It's always a pleasure to hang and chat with you. Let's do it again soon. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can check out the Patreon at the link in the description for behind the scenes, early episodes, and extra content I know you'll enjoy. Special thanks to viewers like you. Thank you, and until next time.